Today I'm going to try and take Golf Juliet Whiskey, this Beechcraft Sierra, across from Bristol to Cardiff. However, the weather is not cooperating on our side. So the plan is to leave Bristol Airport and head up to East Nelsley, Avon Bridge, cross over to here to Cardiff and then land at Cardiff Airport. This is a real cross-country VFR flight and we're going to be using VATSIM. The biggest problem I have right now is this big rain cloud over Bristol and Cardiff. So I'm going to go into the sim and let's see what the weather is looking like right now. And looking at the weather, it's not looking great, is it? There's a lot of cloud above us, quite a bit of rain and wind. Now, in the current state here, I am not confident that we will be able to get out of here using a VFR departure. However, like a real pilot, I'm going to sit and I'm going to wait and see if this weather clears. So just taking a look at the weather reports right now, it looks like potentially this band of rain here, which is currently over Bristol Airport, is actually going to clear up. So if we look in the next kind of 40 minutes or so, it looks like that's going to be away, so we might have a potential there. But the problem we do have is this cloud. There's quite a bit of cloud. It's quite obstructive. It might cause us a problem actually getting out, but I'll let you know in the next kind of 20 minutes or so. We'll keep an eye on the weather and see if we can actually get a departure here out to Cardiff.
20 minutes later.
Bristol Airport information Juliet. 1604 Zulu. Wind 245 at 17, gusts 27. Visibility 10 miles or more. Ceiling 400, overcast. Temperature 14, dew point 14. QNH 1010. Rain. Landing and departing runway 27. Transition level 060. Advise on initial contact you have information Juliet.
So a little update here, as you could hear from the ATIS advisory, the weather is not great here, a lot of rain and a lot of wind, but the good news is there is some clearing of the weather finally after 20 minutes or so, and Bristol Airport's actually back at VFR. My biggest problem right now is that Cardiff is still reporting IFR, but the good news is they are reporting that they expect it to return to a VFR in the next half an hour or so. So I'm going to keep a very close eye and I'll let you guys know in about half an hour or so what happens with the weather, and fingers crossed we can actually get a departure today.
1 day later.
Well, welcome back. It's been an entire day of me watching the weather, and as you can see here, this is the next day, and it's overcast. Yay. However, I have looked at the charts and it does suggest that it's moderate VFR and we might be able to keep below this cloud ceiling and get to Cardiff. So we are going to attempt it today. Whether or not we will succeed, we will find out. But we're going to attempt it because I don't want to wait much longer. And you're probably wondering, Yeti, why don't you just set it to clear weather? Why don't we just fly with clear weather? Well, personally for me, flight simming is about simulating it as close to reality as we can get. And I think a big part of that is being able to actually sort of work around the weather and with the weather. So I kind of enjoy it, is the reason. But yeah, I mean, we're going to attempt it. We are on VATSIM right now, but it is worth noting right now there's no ATC online, which is fine. And actually at the moment, unlike yesterday, it is pretty clear on VATSIM. There's not that many aircraft actually around, but obviously we will keep an eye out for our aircraft and we will use the correct communications because, you know, Bristol is an international airport. People do use it on VATSIM. So, yeah. So we're just gonna get the Beechcraft Sierra started up first of all, and then what my plan is to do a left-hand circuit or actually we'll do a right hand circuit because of weather, and we're just going to see, is there actual possibility to get to Cardiff? If not, we'll return back. It's not a big deal, but I think we'll get lucky, and I think we'll be able to do it. So yeah, we'll see. So currently I'm on Unicom, which is 1228, which for those who don't know is like the general advisory communications that you use when ATC is offline. There is actually one other aircraft at Bristol today. It seems like it's a Boeing 777, which definitely can't take off at Bristol, but that's VATSIM for you. So I will just do the startup advisory. So yeah. Bristol traffic, Golf Echo Romeo Juliet Whiskey is on the general apron. We're starting up, and then we'll be taxiing to runway 27 via Juliet, holding at Juliet X-ray Bristol traffic. Okay, so we're gonna switch this up. We're gonna put the we're gonna give it a little bit. We're gonna switch the fuel tank to left. We're gonna put the rotating beacon on. We're gonna put the nav lights on. We don't need the pitot heat on. We're gonna give a bit of fuel boost, and then we're gonna start the engine.
Clear prop.
Right, there we go. We got a good start. So now we're just monitoring now the oil temperatures. We're monitoring all of the T's and P's just to make sure it's fine. We'll give the RPM a little bit of power to get into the green just to check everything is fine. Also help this oil temperature rise, which to be honest does rise very quickly. I don't know if that is the case in all of the Beechcraft Sierras. We're going to now set our squawk code to VFR. We'll switch that to on, just so other aircraft can see us. The other thing that I'm going to do is, because it's a bit of a dim day, I believe this lowers the brightness. Yeah, look at that. So just to give it a bit of brightness, and we're going to pull back now a little bit on the throttle. We'll go to 1 degree of flaps. I love the little vibrations here. And then we'll put the pitot heater on, and then we will announce that we're taxiing to Juliet X-ray. Bristol traffic, Golf Echo Romeo Juliet Whiskey is taxiing to runway 27 Juliet X-ray. Okay, so now we're going to let go of the parking brake, which is obviously a great start. And then we will taxi out. Okay, so park and brake off. Try not to go straight into the hedge because we do have a lot of throttle on. There's no traffic around. I can actually use the traffic here to test. Like I say, we're VFR today, so I've not really put anything into the GNS here, but I might just pop in, just for consistency's sake, we can pop in Cardiff, which is EGFF, I believe, EGFF. So we can pop that in, and the landing runway would be on 30, I believe. So we can load a visual 30 on here. Just can use this for effectively just some extra guidance. So okay, we're stopped here at the threshold. Just going to do a slight run up just to check all of the T's and P's are correct. Okay, we're looking good. So again, check for traffic on the old VATSIM. Just see if there's anything inbound. Looks fine. Check right, check left, looks fine. So now we can announce our departure. So let's do that. Bristol traffic, Golf Echo Romeo Juliet Whiskey is departing runway 27 right hand circuit for Golf Juliet Whiskey, Bristol traffic. Okay. So now we'll taxi onto the runway, put the landing lights on, and then put the rotating beacon and strobe on. So the landing altitude today looks like it's 800 feet. So we're 800 feet above sea level. There is a bit of rain apparently around. I think we can stay below the actual cloud layer. That's the plan. So just do a final left check, right check. We're all clear. Well, I have a faulty rudder, so sometimes the brake applies like that. I do need to get a new rudder. So I just set the altitude now up to 2000. Again, I'm going to be manually flying it mostly, but
on runway
it's nice to have the advisory information, so we can set that. We can put her into takeoff mode, so it gives us a bit of thing. Okay, and then we slowly rev up here. And look, there's that PMG 777 there. Don't think you can take off from Bristol in a 777. I mean, you probably can if you're light enough, actually. But, I mean, yeah. Anyway, our airspeed is alive and the engine TMPs are good. And we are slightly at rotate speed. The engine and this Sierra is not perfect. We can actually overboost it. It's actually allowed as long as you don't stay in there. But we're actually up now. But yeah, it's not got a very powerful engine, which I kind of like. I think it's got less power than the Piper.
FedEx 251 taxiing to holding points runway 27.
And as we kind of go up here, we just can't kind of follow this, and then we'll do a right turn out. At the moment, we are maintaining VFR. That cloud level is close though, so we're going to have to stay below it just to maintain VFR. So I'm just going to trim her a little bit because our trim's headed down a little bit, which is kind of uncomfortable to hold. So I'm continuing to trim, just checking our airspeed is up. It'd be cool if I actually had a real trim wheel that would help with this. But yeah. So I'm going to turn right now. Looks like we're going to have to maintain about 1,500 to stay within VFR, which is fine. It's legal. That's all which matters. So we'll do that, and then we're gonna head out. So I'm just gonna trim her a little bit more because I want to set the altitude down to 1,500 because we're a little bit high. It looks like there's a bit of rain ahead, and I'll just announce now that we're departing. So we're heading towards East Nelsley, which is just up here. You can actually see it on the map, which is very useful. East Nelsley is there. So I'm going to try and maintain. I'm going to go down a little bit because that looks like rain ahead, so we might need to depart out. Bristol traffic Golf Echo Romeo Juliet Whiskey is exiting the VRP via East Nelsley, clear runway 27 Bristol traffic. So I'm going to head over to East Nelsley. We're going to. That looks like a lot of rain ahead, doesn't it? It's a shame the weather radar doesn't work on the GNS. It would be extremely useful in this scenario. But yeah, we're going to try as a good question if we can maintain VFR. In real life, we could get a special VFR. This aircraft is more than capable of doing IFR. So we're just overflying East Nelsley now. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get out to Avon Bridge, so not unless that rain is disappearing. So we're gonna head down down to 1,500. I just pull back the foot a little bit, and we will we'll head towards the Cleveland BRP, which is another way to get out of the ATZ. So, well, we're out of the ATZ, but out of the D-class airspace. So I want to try and maintain VFR as much as I can. We should be able to keep at 1,500. Should be fine.
Flaps.
Okay, I just realised I've messed up a little bit. I've not got the alternator on. That's why the volts meter is flashing in red there. That is why you should use a checklist. So switch the alternator on, because otherwise we would have an electronics failure after a little bit of time there. So thankfully I spotted that. But yeah, Cleveland is over to our left. You can see it over here, Cleveland. So we'll kind of head that way. The weather looks a little bit more better over that way anyway. So the airspace we're in right now is from ground up to 10,000 feet. So if there was an ATC online, we would still be within the controlled airspace. And then after we get to Cleveland, as long as we stay below 4,000 feet, we're outside of controlled airspace. So we can do whatever we want really. But until then, we should really exit via one of these VRPs. I would usually exit Avonbridge, but it looks like there was a huge rainstorm over Avonbridge, and I'm not sure I could maintain VFR if we went there. So we're creeping up a little bit. I'll make sure that we descend a little bit to 1,500, just so we can keep clear of those clouds. But it looks like I can see Wales and I can see sun, so I think we might be okay. I hope we're okay, but we'll see. We will see. So this is Clevedon ahead. And yeah, then we'll cross the Bristol Channel. We can go directly to Cardiff docks, and we can see this 777's here. He should nowhere get anywhere close to as low as me. It looks like he's climbing. I don't know if we can see. He's probably in that cloud already. So he's going to be a no factor for us, hopefully. And that's why we stay within the limits. So we're just over VRP Clevedon. Usually right now you'd report to the Bristol radar that you're overhead Clevedon, and then they would get a frequency change. Because there's like one other guy on traffic, it's irrelevant for me to mention it to him. So yeah, we're just fly over here. We're outside of the controlled zone now. So yeah, now we can head directly to Cardiff docks, which I might actually set direct to. It's over here somewhere, or maybe it's further south. Here it is, Cardiff docks. So I can set direct to there. It's very useful so that we know which way we can go. Give a bit more throttle because we're down to like 90 knots now. Don't want to overfall it a little bit, and that will make us climb. So I'll put a little bit of down nose. We can select out, which will hold us or tell us. The flight director will then try and direct me down to 1,500, which is fine. So we just get a bit. It's a bit windy today as well. I think it says on there there's a 27 knot headwind. It's not causing too much problems, but it is a bit of a factor. It looks like there's a bit of a cloud over there on our right. Thankfully we're not going over above that cloud layer, so I think we can still maintain VFR. We should maintain under 4,000 feet at this current sector. Above us at 4,000 feet is controlled Class D airspace. Ideally when you're flying VFR, unless you have a need, you should stay out of controlled airspace, because it just makes everyone's life a bit easier. Obviously there's times when it's better to enter controlled airspace, when you can do transitions through the airspace, depending on how busy it is, but generally speaking, you know, it's good to maintain out of it. So I maintain about 1,700 now because it's absolutely fine to just stay anywhere here between 0 and 4,000 feet. There's Class A airspace, which is the airspace you never want to enter unless you're IFR, but that's at 10,000 feet, and that's off to our left side. So yeah, when we have no risk of going that high in this plane. I don't think the engine would even get up there. It probably would, but I would die of hypoxia, so not a problem. So yeah, we are heading directly now almost to the Cardiff docks as we go over the Bristol Channel. I could add a little bit more throttle potentially. This plane engine is not very good, like it's not that powerful. It tends to cruise around, and we've got a tailwind as well. So actually we've got a headwind, so that's probably why. Yeah, it's not a massively powerful engine. The Piper is a lot faster than this, but it's kind of a nice aircraft. It's got quite nice avionics on it, so yeah, why not? We still haven't got autopilot on. I'm just sort of hand flying this as we approach Cardiff docks. So when we're approaching Cardiff docks, I will see traffic on here. I don't think there's any traffic actually around, so I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I'm just going to check on my external VATSIM map just to check, but yeah, there's nothing around, so not a problem. So we're climbing a little bit now. Let's go down a little bit. So you can see it's very marginal VFR today. There's a lot of areas you can't fly around because of the cloud cover. There is cloud cover directly over Cardiff Airport, so we're going to have to descend below that. But that is fine. It's looking very much like it's going to be a very very heavy winds on landing, but I don't think it will cause us a problem because it's not a crosswind. And we can see over there in the distance that's Cardiff, and there's Cardiff docks off to our right. I will just fly a little bit closer to the docks so that we can a little bit closer, and then when we overfly I'll do a call on VATSIM, even though there's no traffic around, but it's good practice, just to let people know that we're going to join the base leg for runway 30, because there's not many people in the pattern. There's literally no one in the pattern. We can just join the base leg directly to land. In real life, Cardiff radar usually would get you to do that anyway. If there's a lot of traffic online, you might have to do the full pattern to land. You might have to join that specific, but because we're approaching from this angle, we can join the base leg, and we should just be able to land at Cardiff. So it's a nice little flight. It took me so long. It's been like a day and a half to try and just do this simple flight for you guys. And the weather is just not communicating, and it's annoying because in the UK recently we've had so much good weather, and then it's just been terrible, you know. So yeah, we're almost at Cardiff docks right in front of us. So that's our VRP to enter the Class D airspace at Cardiff. Right now we're outside of the Class D just because we're below 4,000 feet. But as soon as we pass the docks, we're pretty much entering the ATZ, and we will pretty much be on course then to land. So yeah. So I've left the landing light on pretty much for this entire flight because it's only such a short flight, and it helps with visibility, I guess. But it would drain the battery a little bit. Especially when I had the alternator off. That did not help. Okay, so yeah, there's Cardiff in all its glory. I'm going to descend a little bit now, just because those clouds are scaring me a little bit. But yeah, you can see the docks, and a VRP is obviously a visual reference point, so you can use them in VFR, which is why I don't really need to use the navigation system, because I can see the docks, right? They're directly ahead of us. And I can see that big cliff there on the left. There's a lot of visual cues to show me that, you know, I should be entering the airspace here from the docks. So it's all good. So yeah, we're just doing an announcement about something. No one's actually around, but you know, it's good practice, isn't it? So yeah, Cardiff traffic, Golf Echo, Romeo, Juliet Whiskey is a type Beechcraft Sierra. We're just flying over VRP Cardiff docks, and we will be joining the base leg for runway 30 Cardiff traffic. So yeah, we are now going to, there's actually a published arrival procedure at Cardiff, which is basically when you hit Cardiff docks, you fly this way. I hope the wind's not going to cause us too much problems here. We should be fine. Just pull a little bit back off the throttle, and yeah, so down here, that little kind of village there by the sea, it's actually a little bit afterwards, we're not going to see it right now, but yeah, Barry is here, which if anyone knows is where Gavin and Stacey was filmed, which is a very famous British kind of sitcom. So that's cool. So yeah, now there's photogrammetry in this area as well, which is cool. So yeah, we're overflying. I think this is still part of Cardiff technically. Yeah, we're slowly descending. I'll just pull a little bit back on the ball. The good thing with the Beechcraft Sierra is it's slow enough that you can kind of just like slow her down very slightly, and she'll slow down. So it's not a problem. But yeah, I think we head over Barry, which is directly in front of us. A little bit of wind there coming from the ground below us as we've just gone over it. So a little bit of turbulence. But yeah, directly in front of us now is Barry, which is just south of the airport. So actually, it's east of the airport. But yeah, we should be able to kind of do it. So we're kind of on the base leg of the to land now. Actually, we just kind of joined it, and then we'll turn right onto final as we head over the beach. That's on our right side is Barry. And in front of us is, I believe, a Swan Bridge, a little tiny beach. I can't remember what that small island is. Yeah, so we're just monitoring speed. We're at 1,500, that's completely fine. We are a tiny bit high. Not going to be a huge problem. You can actually see on the GNS where I'm heading to intercept, to turn right onto the basic, so we have to like go out a little bit to the sea so that we can turn in. And that's kind of a useful vector. Hopefully it looks like Cardiff's got a very nice VFR. I mean, it's marginal VFR technically speaking, but it seems appropriate. I mean, there's a little bit of mist here, but yeah, it seems fine. So we did a little bit of a climb there, so I'm just going to kind of bring us back down a little bit. And we will put down a notch of flaps now, which will add quite a bit of drag as well. Oh, we're still coming in. So I'm still going to use that GPS reference to work out where we need to turn, so that we can line up with the runway. But effectively now I think I could probably start the turn, because I think it's on our right. I can't actually see the airport. Yeah, I can see it. So yeah, I can do a very slow, steady turn in here, or we could wait until we're perfectly on that GPS point. But I think we can head a little bit further. But yeah, we're good. We'll head a little bit down, and then we'll just announce it on VATSIM again. No one is around, but I'll announce it anyway. Cardiff traffic, Golf Echo Romeo Juliet Whiskey is turning onto final for runway 30 Cardiff traffic. So yeah, there's Cardiff in front of us. We can do a slight turn here into final. The wind is a headwind, slight crosswind. Don't think it's going to cause too much of a problem. On our right there is Barry. So it's always kind of cool to be able to see Barry as you're landing here at Cardiff. Yeah, we haven't got the gear down just yet. The gear does produce quite a bit of drag, but yeah, we will put the gear down now that we are lined up, and I'll add a little bit of throttle just because of the amount of drag that adds. So now we are pretty much perfectly lined up with runway 30. So now we just got to glide in at a roughly like 3-degree path. Rule of thumb usually is once you're on the glide, for me anyway, is to maintain about 500 feet per minute descent. We're getting blown a little bit by the wind here, not a problem. An extra stage of flaps now, just to give us maximum lift, so that's down to 20 degrees. And I'll just give a little bit more power here. And we'll just maintain that for now. So we kind of come down and checking, obviously those PAPI lights to ensure, I can say we're slightly off the glide path now. So we're just correct. We will get back onto the glide path. I can enable that as well. Kind of like seeing it when landing, I don't know why. So yeah, we're still slightly higher the glide path, so we're going to have to do, there we go, we're back on it. Have to do like a little bit more than 500 feet per minute to get there, so now if I maintain 500 feet per minute, we should pretty much stay on it. There's a little bit of wind here, so you can see I'm crabbing very slightly into the wind, because the wind is slightly, it's pretty nice on the nose, 22 knots, but it is a slight crosswind. Not a problem. We're going to go to the full stage of flaps now here, and we're going to continue to maintain 500. Bit of wind, and we got a very tiny bit, it felt like, a bit of wind shear there, so that was interesting. I'm actually going to go up one stage of flaps because of that. Don't want to lose too much airspeed. But the coming off the rocks there was turbulent, which was pushing like us forward and up. But yeah, we can completely land at this flap level anyway. 4 flaps probably a bit too much. But yeah, now I'm a little bit high because I wanted to gain a little bit of airspeed, because that concerned me how much airspeed we lost there due to that wind. But yeah, as long as we land before that last piano key, we will not have to do a go around, so that's fine. So very smoothly. Just kind of drifted.
Long landing! Long landing!
There we go. And this thing does not take much to get off, so we can just exit here. Yeah, that was very interesting. The turbulence there from the rocks pushed up towards the plane, like from the front there, and sort of like made us almost stall, which is kind of scary, but very real problem. Which happens. But yeah, so now let's taxi and just announce it. So Cardiff traffic, Golf Echo Romeo Juliet Whiskey is exiting runway 30 on Hideout for the general aviation parking. Cardiff traffic, Golf Juliet Whiskey. Okay, so now we just turn left onto here, pop the flaps up, and we have made it in Cardiff, and it's actually quite decent weather here after that entire thing. So yeah, this is a completely unedited flight from Bristol to Cardiff, and yeah, so now I'll just pop that down. We can just stop here, should be fine. Pop the brake on, and then cut the throttle and magnetos, and there we go. Switch off the battery so that doesn't drain. Switch this off, navigation lights off, P2 heat off, electric trim can go off, and then we finally want to switch the fuel to off, and there we go. So yeah, we've made it, and it's quite good weather here after a day. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, something a little bit different, then feel free to subscribe. I might do more if you want me to, but yeah, thanks for watching everybody, and have a good rest of your day.